you have an honest conversation with Sean McDermott and this football team and see if they want to reschedule this game. Because if they don't, there will be ramifications of seeding in the playoffs. So you try to determine, let them determine what they would want that to look like going forward. I also believe this, right? This is a time, especially a perfect time and a perfect situation for the NFL, Roger Goodell, Troy Vincent, the ownership in the NFL to say, you know what? Let's let our players have a say in this situation. Because none of us experience what they experienced during that game. If they want to play it again, let's try to figure out a way to put it on the schedule and get it played. If they don't want to play it, to Joe Burrow's point, let's not play the game, but know that there will be some things that transpire that may be unfair to one or the other when we get to how we build these playoffs out. So I think that's as simple as I can make it. That's a formula that's simple. And to your point, Molly Q, still with Damar Hamlin on the forefront of everybody's mind, I think now with his dad speaking and his uncle speaking the other day, and the Buffalo Bills still continuing to check and see the progression, I think now this is starting to transition into them having an attitude and a gear towards let's honor and respect Damar. Let's play for Damar. This is what football players do. This is what teams do. And obviously the news is still frightening, still trying to figure out if he's going to fully pull through, see where he's going in his progression. But ultimately, I think now it's about these guys being able to be within themselves and galvanize. And I think they should definitely be a part of this situation, this conversation, and the move towards if you're going to play the game or if not.
Yeah, and Stephen A., I think the whole world is going to be rooting for the Bills.
Absolutely. But go ahead, D Wood. I'll let you go first, and then I'll chime in last.
Yeah. First of all, I don't envy the National Football League in this situation at all. It's a very tough situation. And Marcus, I do agree as far as I think the league needs to involve the players in this because there's a psychological component when you're talking about possibly rescheduling the game, particularly in Cincinnati. What those players saw on that field is unlike anything that any of us has ever seen on a playing field. I lean towards canceling the game, and I just think that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I bring up the psychological aspect of this whole thing. These Buffalo Bills playing along with the Cincinnati Bengals players have been through a lot. It's a traumatic situation that they witnessed. Also, I'm looking at it from the scheduling standpoint of we talk about player safety all the time, right?
Yeah.
Player safety. You're going to have to push this whole thing, push this thing back a week, which means there will be no extra week leading up to the Super Bowl. You will literally kind of go into the Super Bowl.
Does that concern you from a health perspective when you're talking about player safety?
Listen, if you're a league that constantly preaches about player safety, you got to walk the walk, right? You can't just be talking about it and not act on it, not acting on it. So I do worry about those situations. And listen, I look at this situation as this is unprecedented what we have seen happen this week. And when you have a situation like that, sometimes there's not a fair solution. There's just not a fair solution in this situation. And I know as a player, a player in that locker room, you've been working since training camp for a possible moment to, get the number one seed, get a bye week. But who could have foreseen this type of situation happen on Monday Night Football with Damar Hamlin? And obviously, Swag, as you said, first and foremost, our thoughts are with him and his recovery and all those type of things. But pushing it forward, it's just, man, the timetable is so tight right now to try to make up this game and also continue on with the playoffs as it is. So I lean towards canceling this and just figuring out things as we move along.
S.A.?
I don't lean towards canceling it as well. I think the game should be played. Before I say anything else, obviously I'll echo the sentiments of you guys. Damar Hamlin, we wish him nothing but the best. We want a full and speedy recovery. We want this brother okay because he's not out of the woods. And we have to recognize the fact that we have to take a moment to applaud the medical experts from both teams, as well as independent medical experts
Absolutely.
on site that came to the rescue. They saved his life, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
If it were not for them, Damar Hamlin would not be here.
Yep.
And the only place you could say, other than an NFL field, that he would have possibly survived is an actual hospital. Any place else, he would have been gone. And so we have to give credit to those guys. And we have to understand that. Here's the exception with which I would say, D. Wood, that no game needs to be played. I would ask that you all not just think about the players, but think about the fans in each respective city. If the fans and the players say, we don't care about the seedings. If the Buffalo fans, Bills Mafia and the crew, along with the Bills say, we don't care about being a number 2 seed. If the Cincinnati Bengals fans and their players say, we don't care about being a number 3 seed, then you're right. Cancel the game. Because those are the two directly impacted. They're both going to the playoffs. We're talking about the possibility of Buffalo being a number 1 seed if they lose. If they win, a number 3 seed if they lose. Cincinnati being a number 1 or a number 2 seed if they win, remaining a number 3 seed if they lose. If both teams and their respective fan base says we don't care, it doesn't matter to us because this is what happened, fine, no problem. But if they do care, got to play the game because it is football. And the fact of the matter is you have this game that's going to affect seedings. And if you have an opportunity to have a game at Orchard Park, New York, Western New York, in that cold, freezing weather, in that temperature, and you believe that's going to facilitate you getting to a Super Bowl, and the players are aligned with you, and they want to play that game, you got to find a way to play that game.
Yeah.